Support for Sports Page is provided by the University Store. The University Store is the official headquarters for Mules and Jenny's emblem clothing, gifts, and UCM memorabilia. Books, office supplies, art supplies, and more are available at the University Store, located on the lower level of the Elliott Union on the UCM campus in Warrensburg. And promotional support for Sports Page is provided by 1450 KOKO and 98.5 The Bar. 1450 KOKO and 98.5 The Bar, the radio home of University of Central Missouri Athletics.
Coming up on Sports Page, I'll sit down with head football coach Jim Svoboda and talk about the spring game and the recently completed spring practices. Devin DeGretti will catch up with softball head coach Susan Anderson and talk about them splitting a doubleheader against Pittsburgh State. In our Sports Page Spotlights, we'll take a look at UCM Athletics year in review. We'll also take a look at Jenny's senior infielder Braylan Bivens, and all of that and more on this edition of the UCM Sports Page. Welcome back to Sports Page. I'm Alex Greenlee. The Mules hosted their spring game last week. Brianna Blocker was there, and she was there to see what was going on. Let's take a look at it.
Hi, I'm Brianna Blocker, and I'm here at the Walton Stadium in Warrensburg, Missouri, where the Central Missouri Mules are having their spring football scrimmage. Let's take a look at those highlights. Mule starting quarterback Hayden Hawk returns from last year, who averaged 303 passing yards per game.
Hayden Hawk's pass complete to Justice McMullen. Uniform brings up 1st and 10 at the 27.
Levance Taylor was explosive on the offensive side of the ball. He ran for an average of 72 rushing yards per game last season. Hawk has plenty of passing targets, like returning junior fullback Sean Gorman.
Touchdown, Levance Taylor.
The Mules offense take advantage of their strong running game, powered by running backs such as returning Ray Harris. Harris ran for an average of 39 yards last season. He's sure to be a major asset to the 2014 fall season. The Mules continue to showcase their skilled receiver with this touchdown, called by Ian Tolson.
Hawk's pass complete to Ian Tolson for the touchdown.
Mules defense managed to shut down their second-string offense with great defensive plays, such as De'Aaron Rose. Mules wide receiver Alex Strong makes a great play on the ball, putting up yards against the defense. The Mules defense capitalized on mistakes made by the QB. Defensive back Connor Smith comes up here with a big interception. Levance Taylor again taking the ball up the field. More from him after the game. He made great plays on the ball, keeping the defense off balance.
Levance Taylor, the ball carrier. 10 from the 30.
Watch out for the Mules football team fall 2014. First home game at the Walton Stadium, September 11th against Emporia State. Hawks' passing game was on point, even scrambling into the end zone for a touchdown. Hi, I'm here with LaVance Taylor. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm fine. So what are you most looking forward to in the upcoming season?
To win, to be the best we can be, and score a lot of touchdowns for everybody.
What challenges are you guys facing as a team, and how do you plan to fix them?
Well, we are a young team, so we kind of got a little more experience than younger teams should have, but we should be all right, though. We just got to grind through the summer and do our thing.
Considering you are one of the key players of the team, how do you plan to move forward and make progress?
Just continuing to work hard, man, and be the best I can be, and be more of a leader to my team than in years past, and see how it goes.
Okay. And do you have any more thoughts about the upcoming season?
Nah. Mules rule. That's all I got.
I'm Brianna Blocker reporting for SportsPage.
Thanks for that, Brianna. Joining us now to talk Mules football is head coach Jim Svoboda. Coach, I'm really glad to have you on.
Yeah, thanks.
Nice to meet you as well. The Mules are coming off a 6-4 season. It's a 6th straight winning season in the program, and the winning program 15th in the last 16 seasons. What are you guys looking forward to coming up in the next season?
Well, we really want to build on how we finished the season. We had a couple of tough early losses, and I was just really proud of how the players just hung in there, because we have high aspirations within our program, and when you have a couple of tough, close early losses like that, sometimes it can really kind of gut punch you and take the wind out of your sails as a team. And our guys really just continue to get better, and we won our last 4 games by an average of like 50-14 or something like that. So we got a lot of momentum coming into the season. We got a lot of players coming back as well.
That's fantastic, Coach. What did you see during the spring game last week that you think is going to translate into success for next season?
Well, really, we evaluate the whole spring. The spring game is a little bit for the crowd, and just kind of a fun day for the players. And you really make more of your evaluations and during practice and some of the other scrimmages where we actually have the first string going against each other. But they really executed well. The ones really executed well. I think Hayden had 3 incompletions out of 23 passes, and the running game was strong for the first unit, and defensively, the second offense had a few plays, but for the most part, the first team defense kind of dominated them. So, and then what you look for is some of those young guys on the twos that that's not a lot of glory in that particular day for them, because the first team, at least you hope to dominate that scrimmage, but you also look for glimpses with those young guys that are playing against the first units, and we definitely saw some of those things, some bright spots with those young guys too.
That's fantastic. Now, you said, quote, "This is a superb class, very athletic, as well as outstanding students," end quote. You said that in reference to the recruiting class you guys got coming in. What do you expect from them?
Well, the truth is that when you sign high school seniors, freshmen to be, you don't really count on them in terms of the upcoming season. It's definitely building for the future, and that's what we've tried to do here with the program since I've been here in 2010, is really focus on the high school players. And we have over 100 of them on our team right now. And so, you really got to do a thorough job in the recruiting process, and just and look for what that kid's going to be down the road. What his potential is, and some of those kids could play, but I think what you're doing is you're trading a year from when the kid is 18 years old to when he's 22 years old. And when you look at it like that, it's kind of a no-brainer to use that year to just so much going on that freshman year, new classes, new friends, new place to live, all those things. And you really, it's a period of adjustment and just getting their feet underneath them and getting a solid weight program started for them.
When you talk about building for the future, and clearly I understand that's what you guys are doing, and I'm really excited to see that. The strengths of this recruiting class, I looked at some of the stats, what they did in high school. I was like, wow, that's pretty impressive. What stands out for you in this recruiting class coming in?
Well, it's really a pretty comprehensive class. We hit on about every position, so it's real solid there. I think we're continuing to do a better job on the offensive line, which has really been a challenge for us since we've been here, and just building that up. And as a class, what we've done is we've kind of taken our evaluation process to the next level, and we actually do a little testing when those kids come on their visit. And so, you know, we just want to make sure that we're really thorough, and the result of that is we have some really good athletes, just overall athleticism in the class.
Thank you, Coach. Your quarterback, Hayden Hawk, is coming back from his senior year. Completed 61.8% of his passes. He had 29 touchdowns last season. Some good numbers there. What do you expect from him coming back? Obviously, you saw in the spring game, clearly had a good handle on the offense there.
Well, Hayden's just an outstanding player. I've coached a lot of outstanding quarterbacks in the last 30 years, and in terms of throwing the football, he's his most naturally accurate kid I've ever coached, and so, you know, it's really a matter of him continuing to do what he does, and he'll have you know, that year under his belt. And I think that second year, you know, really the sky's the limit for him. He's really a talented kid, and he's got a great cast around him, and we feel like our offensive line will be as strong as it's ever been. And so what we need to do is we need to achieve a little more balance with our offense. And Hayden needs to do his thing, and then we just need to run the ball better, and I think we'll really be hard to stop.
Certainly, and I think you guys will be too once that happens. Levance Taylor and Anthony Kirkwood are coming back as seniors for this squad. You know, two key players, good players from last season coming back. What are your expectations for them? Obviously, you saw Levance was really excited.
Well, those are our two fastest players on the team, and so, you know, getting them the ball in space is going to be key for us. Getting them started, getting them past the line of scrimmage, and you know, those are two players that have the potential to take it to the house on every time they touch the ball. So, and they're both as hard working. The beauty of those two kids is they not only are clearly as talented as anybody as we have on the team, but they have as good a work ethic too. And so, when your better players are, you know, among your hardest workers, I think that's the best possible scenario.
Your offense last season averaged over 37 points per game last season. Coach, that's a pretty solid offense in my opinion.
It's solid in this conference, I can tell you that. And like I said, we really gained momentum towards the end of the season, and what we want to do is we want to try to get off to as fast a start as possible with all those returning kids coming in, and so we lose one skilled player, and Ron Lloyd is an outstanding receiver for us, but we got a lot of kids coming back, and just you know, as an offensive coach, it's like sometimes you don't have enough balls for all the guys we got.
Understandable. The Mules scored 88% of the time they were in the red zone, Coach. 75% of those times you scored a touchdown. Offensive production, we talked about, you know, the points, the yards, that sort of thing. What does that say about your squad coming in there and just putting points on the board?
Well, that's the goal on offense, and you know, in reality, I've never really gotten hung up on having to pass for X amount of yards or rush for X amount of yards. It's really getting the ball in the end zone, and what we did such a great job of is when we got close, we got it in there. So we didn't end up kicking a lot of field goals down there, which is the ideal situation. And so I think we were in the top 5 or 10 in terms of red zone offense, and we're pretty good in red zone defense too, so those are obviously critical areas of the field.
Offensive players that are under the radar as of right now for next season, what are you expecting of them, and who are some players that are under the radar right now?
Well, Justice McMullen's a receiver that's going to replace Ron Lloyd, and Ray Harris, we saw glimpses of him at the running back position. At offensive guard, we got Chris Gomez, who's a freshman. He had a terrific spring. Derek Austin at offensive guard is a transfer kid that we got, and he did a great job this spring too. So, you know, those are some kids that you know, have a lot of potential, and we just hope to get them ready for that first game.
Certainly. And you've got an 11-game season coming up instead of a 10-game season like last year. What are you doing to prepare for that, Coach?
Well, it wasn't by choice that we only had a 10-game season last year, that's for sure. Right. So we're just excited we have another game, and you know, we're playing all league games. That has its strengths and you know, downfalls as well, because the strength of our conference. And I think that you know, what you want to do is you know, it's really every game you got to be ready. So it's not like you have a few cream puffs early in the season that get you ready for your tough conference. You know, right out of the gate, you know, we're playing playoff teams and former conference champions and returning national champions and all that stuff. So You know, we got to play them all anyway. So you know, we'd prefer to have it that way. We've had the toughest opening schedule in the country really the last 3 years, and so it's not anything that our players are going to be shying away from.
Thanks for that, Coach. Explain a little bit about your summer program and what some of the players are doing over the summer and what they're allowed to do.
Well, before it's still primarily voluntary. In other words, we can't take roll. You can't. The coaches can't be out there, but your strength and conditioning coach can work with them. And prior to this year, it was pretty much on their own. I mean, you could give them a program, and you could open up the facility for them. You could supervise it, but the strength coaches weren't allowed to actually work with the players. I mean, as far as drill work and those kinds of things. And new legislation allows the strength coach at least to be with them, and so it's pretty comprehensive and it's more structured now, which the players really prefer, and I prefer. And for a lot of reasons. And then on top of that, we're going to have a brand new weight room. So we're going to have a great off season. We're going to have a great summer.
Hey, real quick, tell me a little bit about those improvements there.
Well, Dr. Ambrose and Jerry Hughes, our athletic director, you know, they made it happen. I mean, it was something that's been talked about around here for a long time, and you know, that's what it was talk, and so they put the plan in action, and to see it to come to fruition and then have the ability to show some of it to our new recruits, I think made a big difference. And just the psyche of our own players, you know, people don't have real appreciation for, you know, the type of locker room and weight room these kids have had here the last few years. We were at the bottom, and now we're at the top in terms of our weight room and quality of equipment. And they just, Jerry Hughes just did, I mean, everything's just first class in terms of the lockers, you know, the flooring, just the equipment, the sound system. It's just, it's a great facility and really second to none.
Coach, I really appreciate having you on.
Thanks, Alex.
Thank you so much. Up next, the Spotlight on UCM Athletics. Don't go away. Welcome back to the UCM Sports Page. For the second time in school history, the Mules and Jennies won 7 MIAA regular season championships in one academic year. We are the only school in conference history to accomplish that feat. Let's take a look at this. What a fantastic season it was. Congratulations to all the teams and athletes on another successful season. Coming up next, Devin Negretti will sit down with softball head coach Susan Anderson. Don't go away.
Welcome back to Sports Page. I'm Devin Negretti. Before we talk to UCM's head softball coach Susan Anderson, let's take a look at a few of the results for this past week. Track and field competed at the Drake Relays in Des Moines, Iowa, April 24th through the 26th. Devin Claypool earned a provisional mark in high jump at 6 feet and 11.5 inches, which is the 8th best mark in Division II this year. The Mules 4x400 meter relay team, Michael Lockhart, Marquise Jones, Osvaldo Granillo, and Kellen Locke gained a provisional mark at 3 minutes and 12.49 seconds. A few athletes traveled to Indianola, Iowa to compete at the Simpson Twilight April 25th. Brady Jacobs placed 12th in the 800 meter run along with teammate Ryan Mixdorf, who placed 28th. Some athletes also competed at the Baker Open in Baldwin, Kansas, April 26th. Heaven Warner earned automatic qualifier in hammer throw, a provisional mark in shot put, and a provisional mark in discus that tied her personal record and was named MIAA Player of the Week. Brooke Swearingen also earned a provisional mark in discus and took first in the event. On the Mules side, George Harlambus earned a provisional mark in high jump, and his mark ranks 19th in the NCAA Division II this year. There were also top performances by Linda Watkins in the 400-meter hurdles and Sam Lutz in the 3,000-meter steeplechase at the event. The Jennies are 7th in this week's United States Track and Field and Cross Country Coaches Association outdoor rankings, along with Mules, who moved up to 17th. Mules baseball traveled to Edmond, Oklahoma, April 25th through the 27th to take on Central Oklahoma. The Mules fell to the Broncos in the series opener, but came back to win the final 3 games in the series and clinched the outright MIAA championship. In the series, Zach Anstein pitched 5 2/3 innings and had 11 strikeouts. Brad Wilson had 2 hits and 3 RBI. The Mules are now 35-14 overall and 32-8 in the MIAA and ranked number 12 in the nation. That's all for the results this past week. Now let's take a look at the highlights from Jenny Softball Senior Day by our sideline reporter, Katie Bailey.
Hi, I'm Katie Bailey, and I'm here in Warrensburg, Missouri at Jennies Field, where the UCM Jennies faced Pitt State University. Let's take a look at the highlights. The Jennies softball team clinched a spot in the MIAA Tournament next week, following a doubleheader split against visiting Pitt State on Senior Day. With the 9-1 victory in 5 innings in Game 2, the Jennies finished the regular season with a 27-21 record, 14-12 in an MIAA play. Sophomore Amanda Nolly drove in 6 runs in Game 2, a team best this season. After Pitt State took an early 1-0 advantage in the first inning, the Jennies offense came back to get on starter Samantha Grove, scoring 9 incredible runs. Number 13 senior Braylan Bivens hits past second and runs for first, making it safe. Number 22, Jackie Pryder, appeared in 39 games and started in all 39. Pryder had 6 team-leading home runs last year and 35 RBIs. Bases are loaded as sophomore Amanda Nolly steps out to bat. Nolly played her best game against Pitt State, leading the team with 6 RBIs. Nolly laced a 1-out, bases clean, doubling to give UCM a 5-1 lead. Number 3, junior Jessica Neely sends the ball flying, which allowed Nolly to take home plate and score a run for the Jennies. Alex Lenhart hits 1 to second, allowing Alex Groger to run to home and score another run for the Jennies. With runners at first and third and 2 outs, an error by third baseman Kylie Gutherer allowed Emily King to come around and score, giving UCM an 8-1 lead. Senior outfield Brittany Nabe appeared in 34 games, starting 27 of them. She is the only player with at least 11 stolen base attempts and not to be caught stealing. Senior outfield Alex Groger started in all 37 games she appeared in. Groger's batting average registered at .317. This is also the last time 3 of the Jennies seniors will play on Jennies Field at Central Missouri. Hi, I'm here with player Amanda Nolly. Amanda, how you doing today?
I'm feeling great after that game.
Did you guys have a bunch of fun playing everything today?
Yeah, we had a lot of fun. We knew that it was our seniors' last home game, and so we wanted to have a good game for them.
Okay, perfect, Amanda. What do you guys think that you brought to today's game to make it such a significant win?
I think we brought a lot of fight, especially the second game. There was a lot of fight and focus. Our backs were kind of up against the wall after the first game. We knew that they had to win both of these games to go to conference, and we already made to conference. So we just had a lot of fight. We knew that we wanted to end with a win for our seniors, and that's what we did. So
beautiful. How did the pressure of this being your last game before conference of the season affect the way you guys played as a team?
I don't think it really affected it. I think that it was just like any other game for us. I mean, we knew that it was our last home game with the seniors and our last games before conference, but I think we just played it like any other game, and we just wanted to win and give Pitt State what they gave us last year. They beat us, so we couldn't get to conference. So
Perfect, and you gave it right back to them, so that was a beautiful game. What are your guys' hopes for conference when you guys get there?
I think that we should focus, every game, every pitch. Sometimes we get to talking in the dugout and we miss some things. So I think just focus and playing as a team and always having that fight and that drive just to win.
Now tonight is senior night. Do you want to make any last comments about senior night and how special it is for you guys as a team?
It's really special. We're definitely going to miss these 3 seniors. Like, they're a big part of our team, and it's just, there's a lot of memories and a lot of great things, but they love the team, they love softball, so we're just really going to miss them.
Perfect, beautiful. Is there any last comments about the game today, Amanda?
I don't think so.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for a wonderful interview. Reporting for Sports Page, I'm Katie Bailey.
Now joining me is Jenny's head coach, Susan Anderson. Welcome back to Sports Page, Coach.
Thanks, Devin.
So this past weekend was a great weekend for the team. The first day against Missouri Southern, you wore these awesome shirts. Can you kind of explain the cause for us?
Yeah, it was our very first Pink Out Day. We really wanted to give back to the Cancer Foundation, and all the proceeds from the T-shirts and the gate were going to the Johnson County Foundation, Cancer Foundation. We just wanted to give back locally, and our girls were really excited, especially our girls that love pink. We sold the pink and the black shirts, and it was just a great cause to give back. And I think one of the biggest honors was that we had Coach Culp. He threw out the first pitch in honor of his late wife, Sandy, who lost her battle to cancer. So that was really special for us, special for him. So it was just a really neat day for it.
I know, I bet they were excited. They got to save second base on the back, and they had their names right here and their numbers. So I bet they were really excited about that.
They were. They turned out really well. So it's definitely something that it's the first annual. We'll definitely keep that going every spring.
It's a great cause to support. On that day, you split the doubleheader against Missouri Southern. The Jennies got the win in the first game, but fell in the second. Can you kind of explain what happened in the second game?
That second game, we just came out flat. I think the biggest thing that we just need to keep working on is keeping our bats alive. We just didn't hit that well, and it was just one of those that whenever you come out flat like that, and if Missouri Southern or any team, no matter who you're playing, if they come out swinging it, if you dig yourself a hole, sometimes it's too hard to dig yourself back out of that hole. So that was just the biggest difference between the 2 games, is that we just kind of came out flat.
And would you say that in the first game, you came out just a little bit better on the batting side?
Yeah, we were attacking, when we got people in scoring position, we were coming up with the big hits and getting people in. To get the first run, it was a first and third situation. We had Bray on first base, and she was stealing second, and then Jessica Neely was at third, and she had a big lead, and once they threw down, so then that was our first run that she stole home, and she was able to get in there before the throw. So I think that really kind of got our momentum going, and then we had a sac fly and different stuff. So everything was kind of clicking. We were getting people on and getting that big run when we needed to.
And then the next day you had senior day. The game ended up getting pushed back due to the weather because it's kind of drizzling and it had been raining the day before, or the evening before a little. But you split the doubleheader following in game 1, but you came back in game 2. What happened in between those games?
I think we just had a really big gut check and just really thought about it. Hey, this is our final game on Jenny's Field for the regular season, and we really wanted to send our seniors out with a win. And I think the other big thing that we talked about is that the year before, we were on the road and we were down at Pitt State, and Pitt State swept us, and that kept us from going to the conference tournament. And we just wanted to return the favor, and that was just something that we talked about, was just, really digging deep and fighting and just coming out swinging. And that was one thing that we really wanted to do, was come away with that split and return the favor and get that win, because that was a difference between Pitt going and them not going to the tournament. So that was really special. And like I said, just to come away with that win, and with it being a run rule win, where it was a huge, lots of runs being scored, I think that was really great to send our seniors off on that note.
What ended up happening in game 1 that caused the fall?
Kind of same thing. I feel like just flat, not really The biggest thing in the first game against Pitt State was our defense. We booted the ball around. We just couldn't catch it. We had like 3 or 4 errors in one inning, and then they came up with their big hitters, and then their big hitters came through with big hits. And at that point, those hitters shouldn't even have been up to the plate. Like, we should have been out of the inning, and even if those big hitters would have got those hits the following inning, it would have just been like 1 run. Instead, it was multiple runs, and that was something that we definitely need to fix that. So against Pitt State, it was definitely the defense that kind of fell short, where on Friday against Missouri Southern, we played solid defense. We didn't have any errors. So that was the difference in Pitt State, is just defense.
Then Amanda Nally had a great game in Game 2 with a double, a home run, 6 RBI. What are your overall thoughts on her performance in that game and throughout this whole season?
Amanda Nally, she has been coming through clutch. Like, whenever we've been putting her out there in the outfield, and even if we've been putting her in for a pinch hit, she's just been really focused and just zoned in. She's ready to take that at bat and give us the most that she can. And she came through clutch once again against Pitt State. Like you said, 6 RBIs. Not many people can come away with a day with 6 RBIs, but just seeing the ball, hitting it solid, she's getting good pitches to swing at, and yeah, she's just been one of those great team players that whenever the opportunity has been given to her, she's been running with it, and that's what we need from everybody.
As I mentioned earlier, it was senior day that day. What will you miss most about those players? Alex Greger, Braylan Bivens, Brittany Knabe?
I cannot speak enough on my seniors. I feel like this is one of the best senior groups that we've ever had come through our program. They are just all heart. They are great leaders. And when I say leaders, it may not necessarily be the most vocal leaders, but just by their example, just team players, very unselfish. They're doing what they need to do for the team. And I feel like our younger girls are learning from that. And that's one thing besides our seniors, and I think it starts with our seniors, but just that unselfishness and just being great teammates. There's something to be said about just being a great teammate, and just great players, great people. I wish that they weren't graduating because they're such a great group. We would love to keep them around. But yes, just they're amazing. They're amazing. Hard workers, like I said, heart and passion. They're difference makers. Every single one of them have been a difference maker for us this season.
How have they shown that leadership throughout the season?
Just day in, day out. Every time that they show up for practice, it's been all out. They never really take a play off. They push their teammates to be better. If things are kind of going disarray, they're ones to kind of bring things together. But like I said, just their work ethic, their passion for putting on a Jenny's uniform, they're very loyal. Like I said, their heart for this program is tremendous. And like I said before, just great teammates. I feel like that's something that's really different about this team, is just knowing everybody's role, being there for each other, and putting the team before their own needs. It's just, it's amazing. It's one thing that we really try to get through with our program, is that you come in as a team, but you leave as a family. And that's something that this group, we are truly going to miss them, but they will always be family. They're forever going to be a Jen. And this weekend, we're really excited about bringing home that trophy. That's our goal, is that we don't want to be done playing this weekend.
Speaking of which, what are coming up? That is, you have the MIAA Tournament in Overland Park, Kansas on May 1st. What are you most looking forward to in that overall matchup?
We're there. I mean, anybody that's there, we are a contender, and we are going to never give up. That's kind of our thing, is just we're going to come out fighting. And like I said, our biggest goal is that we want to be standing there Saturday, hopefully bringing the trophy home to Warrensburg. And if we have that that belief of, hey, that trophy's ours and we're not going to let anybody take it away from us, I think this team has the fight. They have that fight, and they have that never give up attitude, and they're going to keep responding. So I feel like if we can have everything kind of aligned the right way and with a little luck on our side, it could definitely be possible.
We mentioned earlier how the game against Pitt State, it was the end of the regular season. You ended the regular season at 14-12 in the MIAA and 27-21 overall. What are your thoughts on the season overall?
Granted, we've had our ups and downs, but I think the great thing about that is that this team is completely stuck together. And like I said, and I keep going back to it about just being great teammates, they have really been responding. Anytime that a team has like gotten ahead, we've responded back. There hasn't been hardly any times where we've just kind of laid down, and that's something that you have to have, is that you have to have that fight. It's hard to beat a team that never gives up, and that's kind of the mentality that we want to take in going into this tournament. And like I said, yeah, we've had our ups and downs, but this is the time that you want everything to be clicking on all cylinders, and I feel like this group, with the right attitude going into it, which they have, because they're so excited about being there, is just, they're excited. They want it to make it happen, and that's what it is just finding a way. And I think we're very excited about our seed. We're the 5th seed going up against Fort Hays, and when we played Fort Hays, it was our first games out of the chute for conference, and it was the first part of March, and we hadn't played for 20 days. We hadn't even really been on our field because of the snow and weather. So I feel like it's a great rematch, and especially since Hayes won it last year, I feel like we didn't really show them what we're truly capable of, with it being the first games out of the chute for conference. So I feel like it's a great matchup for us going into the conference tournament to go up against them the first round.
We mentioned how there have, you say there have been many ups and downs, and you've been working on a lot, but what is the one thing that you want to concentrate on going into this?
I feel like it's kind of a multiple of things. I feel like if our bats are on at the very beginning and we can jump out to leads, I think that will help everyone just to kind of settle in and then just kind of keep after it. So I would love to see our bats just be ready to go and just get as many runs as we can and never look back. Secondly, pitching. I feel like Katie Shockley has been giving us a lot of great innings. Jackie Prater against Pitt State, that was probably one of the best games that I've seen her throw in a long time, because Pitt State has a great team batting average, and same thing with Shockley. She shut the Pitt State team down. It was just that we defensively, that hurt us. So if we can get those solid performances from our pitching staff, and then the other thing is just playing solid D behind them. But I really do think the biggest thing is offensively, if we can get on top and then just keep attacking, I think that would really help our cause for this weekend.
All right, Coach, thanks so much, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for joining us. Up next on our Sports Page Spotlights is Braylan Bivens. We'll take a look at how she tackled her final season. Stay tuned. Braylan Bivens is a senior infielder from Kansas City, Missouri, and a safety management major. Let's see how effective she's been this season. Take a look.
I would say this team is definitely not necessarily more competitive, but we want it more. And everyone works extremely hard, not just during games and gives it their all, but even in practices, everyone pushes it and we push each other to the next level. And I would just say that this team really wants it a lot more than the previous teams that I've been on. We're really close this year. We're all great friends. We hang out like outside of softball all the time. We're constantly together. We're just all really good friends. My relationship with the coaches has been great. If there's ever anything I need, then I can always talk to them, and they're always there, and it's been great so far. We've had some games we shouldn't have lost, but that always tends to happen. And we've won some great games. And the postseason, I'm really excited about it. It's always going to be tough competition, but I'm really excited to see what happens. We need to make sure our bats come out alive, because they tend to be a little streaky every once in a while, but as long as we come out with our bats and try to score every inning, then we'll be just fine. And then always on defense, we need to make sure that we're playing our D and not someone else's, like play up to our potential. I started out in softball by just signing up through a rec league, and it was T-ball / coach pitch, and I was stubborn and did not ever want to hit off the tee, even though I was the youngest one, so I never did. And my love for the game just continued and grew as I played. And I loved it so much that it took up all my summers playing competitive ball, and I just wanted to go from there and play in college, continue it. My motivator has definitely been my mother. She always pushes me, and when I don't do my best, she's like, come on, you can do better. And when I'm down, she always sends me inspirational text messages and just tries to get me back in the game and my head where it needs to be. So she's always pushing me to be better. I would consider myself a leader. I'm more of a quiet leader than a vocal leader. I try to lead by example and by playing out as hard as I can. And because I'm not the loudest person out there, and I like to just have fun and just try to lead by example. I would consider myself playing-wise, I just like to go all out and just have fun. I have fun when we win because I'm very competitive. So, I mean, yeah, I just like going out there and having fun, playing my heart out. I would say goals-wise, I mean, of course, I always want to win. So my goal is to win, do everything I can to win. Superstitious, I used to not be, but it has grown on me throughout the years. Well, I used to wear batting gloves, but then I started hitting bad with them, so I don't wear them now. And one day at practice, I wore batting gloves, and I was like, it's the batting gloves. It's not me, it's the batting gloves. So I'm very superstitious. Before games, I always hit last because I want to be the last one. I don't like my pregame messed up at all. So I guess you could say I don't like change, but I guess you could consider that superstitious too. My major is safety management with a minor in environmental, and I plan to hopefully get a good job in the safety field and make sure people are safe. Why did I choose red? Well, when I came here on my visit, everyone was super nice, and right off the bat, it felt like a family. Like, they were all very welcoming. Any questions I had, they answered them, and I just loved it. I loved the atmosphere. I love the campus. I've just loved everything about it. So that's why I chose red.
Braylan is hitting .349 this season with 20 RBI and 28 runs scored. We wish you luck with everything. Up next, Alex will give you the rundown on the upcoming events. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Sports Page here on KMOS-TV, Missouri PBS. Here's a look at the upcoming schedules. Mules baseball hosts the first round of the MIAA Tournament on May 1st. The tournament will continue through May 2nd and finish May 3rd. The MIAA Tournament finals will begin in Springfield, Missouri, beginning May 8th. Good luck, Mules baseball. The MIAA Track and Field Championships are May 2nd through May 4th in Jefferson City, Missouri. Good luck, Mules and Jennies Track and Field. Jennies softball heads to Overland Park, Kansas to take on Fort Hays State in the first round of the MIAA Tournament on May 1st. Good luck, Jennies. Mules golf earned the #1 seed for the Central region. The NCAA Division II Midwest Central is May 5th through May 7th in Eureka, Missouri. Good luck, Mules golf, and congratulations on a fantastic season. And with that, we conclude this edition of the UCM Sports Page. Devin, it has been an exciting semester for UCM Sports. And I really thank you for being my co-anchor. It's been fantastic. And we've been giving everybody the best look at UCM athletics that we possibly can.
We'd also like to thank President Ambrose, Joe Moore, Mike Knipper, Dorothy McGrath, Roy Millen, and the KMOS crew for this wonderful opportunity, and congratulate former Mules head basketball coach Kim Anderson and former Mules assistant basketball coach Brad Luce on their new coaching jobs at the University of Missouri. Good luck, coaches.
For our entire crew here at KMOS-TV, I'm Alex Greenlee.
And I'm Devin Negretti saying thanks for watching the UCM Sports Page here on KMOS-TV, Missouri PBS.
Support for SportsPage is provided by Union Station, Crossroads to Technology, a one-stop shopping source for technology needs, campus-compatible computers, software for Mac and PCs, and much more. Located on campus on the lower floor of the Elliott Union in Warrensburg. Union Station, Crossroads to Technology. And promotional support for SportsPage is provided by 1450 KOKO and 98.5 The Bar. 1450 KOKO and 98.5 The Bar, the radio home of University of Central Missouri Athletics.